Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today, do I have a special one for you? We have only been in Season 2, specifically Season 1 Plus, for a few days now. Thus far, there is a lot that we have learned, and I'm going to break down at least the 5 most important takeaways thus far when it comes to preparing for Season 1 Plus, I guess, /2, though technically it's 1 Plus, even though we thought it was going to be 2. It's a weird situation. However, that's not going to deter us from covering these points. Good stuff for you guys today. Before we get started, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and of course, if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. Okay, number 1. We're going to talk about Augerstone changes. This is something that is really important that, for the most part, has yet to really be talked about. It's not obviously the flashiest or I think the prettiest thing, so to speak, but there are some clear differences. An example of this would be Unyielding Fate. Right, that's a different name. We have End of Decision, Mask of Deceit. I'm totally going to find more of these off the Ramparts of Daybreak, Heart of Allegiance, right? Just to name some. The names are different, and then there's quite a few changes as well on these when it comes to the actual details surrounding them. So let's go ahead, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to start off by showing you this first. And from what you can see here, everything, right, so you have, this is for my Everything COD spreadsheet. You can find this again in the description, pinned comment as well. So there's 2 tabs I have down here. I have the Season 1 Kingdom Timeline, and then I have the Season 1 Plus Kingdom Timeline, because you could tell from here it says Season 1 Plus Burning Stars, right? So we're trying to keep it consistent with, what it's showing in-game. With this in mind, you can see Unyielding Fate, right? We have just a name change difference. Everything that's bolded and in blue is basically what the difference is on that specific chapter within Augerstone. So you can see Misty Lands, right? The change here is that all lords must dispel a total of 10 million mist tiles. I think this is less than what the one is in Season 1, right? So you can see here as an example, if I go to Season 1, it's 30 million mist tiles need to be dispelled. Season 1 Plus, it's 10 million. Example here, all lords have to defeat 40k Darkling troops total. And if I go to Season 1, you can see it's 200,000, right? Darkling patrols have to be defeated. So less here. Then we get to number 4, which is End of Indecision. And you can see Alliance occupies Giant Bear Lair by the end, right? 4th Aug has scouts going past. And then you can see here, right? For example, this one, right, Season 1 has the 5th. This is for scouts when it comes to the 4th and 5th Aug. And again, we'll get to that in the very next one. For what we have here, right? So you can see the scouts are opening up where you can go ahead and start scouting out all the other level 1, or I guess I should say Zone 1 regions. If I go here to Augerstone S1, you can see here where it's Augerstone 5, right? And then you can see where it says scouts go beyond the level there. So again, some of the differences you'll notice, right? A Date with Destiny, now it's 30 alliances with at least 50 members by the end of the countdown. You get, again, 200. Some of these differences, it's like the level 3 Darkling forts. You'll see this one, right, which is a difference, I believe, between the artifact, right? Remove scouts can go beyond level 2 passes. So again, that's something that's different, again, happening later here. Mask of Deceit, different name. You can see here, right, Universal Key, gold keys that you ended up seeing here. Right now it's Elite hero tokens, right? Or sorry, Universal keys went to gold keys, so they swapped this. Now you get gold keys instead of the universal keys, and then you get epic hero tokens instead of the elite hero tokens. Merit store opens and fighting grants merits now. As far as when that actually starts, right? So you have to wait until you hit the 8th Augerstone chapter before you can start gaining PvP merits from fighting players. Then you get to number 10, Outbreak of War, another different name for the Augerstone title. You must gain 10k, and this is different, right? This is a totally different one. You must gain 10k merit points by the end of the countdown. I actually like how they worked in some PvP objectives. However, what I think could be cool is if maybe they kind of took a thing from kind of Rock's book, so to speak, where they put in some Season 1 plus Season 2 tasks. Maybe they put those into the... Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting exactly what it's called. I'm blanking hard here. If they put those in, maybe to Titan's Legacy. Sorry, there we go. That's what it is, right? Maybe they put something like that into Titan's Legacy, or just something different, right? Maybe they come up with something specifically for Season 1 Plus or Season 2, where you kind of have individual tasks, alliance tasks, kind of global tasks to do. That would be really interesting. My dog. And then we get to, right, Great Deeds, right? You have some changes. Added Scout Pass Level 2 passes, right? So that's now at Augerstone Chapter 11. Removed level 4 forts open, added level 4 forts open, so you can see here New Dawn and Glorious Names, right, a little bit of a switcheroo. And then you have, once we get down to number 15 for Conspiracy, added level 2 pass openings, right, so again, that's changed. Ramparts of Daybreak, another title change here. Your city must reach 25 by the end of the countdown, right, so by the time you hit Chapter 19 in the Season 1 plus Augerstone, right? Even if that goes for free to play, we'll have to see if there's any free to play that are able to reach 25 by the end of the countdown. Again, this is obviously a ways off, right? You're talking 19 out of 27. You're probably 2/3 of the way in there. If we were to look right now on day, let me see here. It would be nice if it showed me how long. I might be able to check if I go to create menu. But you can see from, here we go, hall level. Right, we'll have to see how many 25s there are. Right, so you got 52 25s. I think when we last checked, there might have been 50. I mean, obviously you have a bunch of 24s, but I don't think there's 200 24s. Yeah, so there's 183 24s right now. Let's see if we can see, because I am curious now. Right, so here we go. If I do create new character. Oh, okay. So I can't. Man, I thought I would actually be able to see how long the server has been open. I probably would have to go on another account, I think. And then oh yeah, but I can't because basically all the kingdoms are essentially merged at this point. So maybe we can try when server 5 comes out, just to see what the specific timeline is there. With that in mind, that's just one thing, right? So we'll see, obviously, how that one works out. We got Chapter 22, which is Dispel 240k mistiles, right? This was actually 10k lessened here. And then you have level 3 passes open 12 hours after, all mist dispelled. And then the last one is Heart of Allegiance. All alliances must build a total of 60 towers by the end of the countdown. And then Magma Demon opens. Right, so that pretty much kind of sums up the last bit there of Augerstone. And I just think it's important to kind of share that because there are clearly some differences, not only from rewards to some of the objectives and then some of the titles. So I thought that'd be interesting to kind of show you guys what that before and after looks like. Okay, then we get to number 2 here for me, which is cannot gain merits early enough. This I just don't understand, right? So we have to go to Augerstone. I think this is 8, Mark of Deceit. And then you'll see here where it says Merit Store. When this chapter ends, the Merit Store will become available in the Alliance Store, and fighting other lords will grant you merits. So, and you can see this by, if we go to rankings, you can go to personal merits, and it says here are unlocked once you hit Masks of Deceit. So, this to me, got that out of the way. Just, as I said, doesn't make a lot of sense because really, if you think about it, you should be able to start gaining PvP merits on day one. If you want to go out there or do any fighting, you should be able to start gaining merits. Now, if you want to make it or adjust it to where the merit store does not open until that chapter finishes, then, okay, you can potentially sell me on that. But the fact that you're not able to earn any PvP points, especially when you have a situation, and in here we'll just walk you through this again. So if I'm going through these, where's my thing here? Nope, that's scout. Where am I going here? Master Deceit, and I think it might be... Oh, is it this one too? Yeah, so see, right here's an example. So level 1 pass opens 12 hours after this is completed, and then you're able to... So it's almost as though... And this is going to be a little bit of a side thought. It's almost as though they want you to treat Season 1 Plus as its type of KVK map, in a way, if I'm making a comparison from Rock, where your Zone 1 regions really are kind of like your Zone 4 when you're going into KVK, right? They essentially want everyone to kind of occupy a safe Zone 1 region and then wait to start doing PvP until those Zone 1 passes open. Even though there's no tooltips, there's no tutorial, they haven't come out and said anything, you can infer this as what really seems to be the ideal strategy, right? Why would you risk doing a bunch of unnecessary PvP, so to speak, if you're not going to get essentially compensated for it, right? Why? And obviously there's reasons where, if you end up just kind of landing in the same Zone 1 region as another one, as other alliances, then there's benefit to kind of weeding them out early so you can expand and then kind of have that territory distribution to yourself and any of your alliances, right? You're also able to potentially weaken or maybe demotivate some of the players in that way. But I would almost argue, I would argue this. I would argue that it's kind of like two sides, right? It's like they're pitted against each other without just choosing one. I just think the ideal thing, really, based on how this reads, if I was reading this, I would literally set myself up every Season 1 Plus, and I would communicate with the other 3 kingdoms that are going to be in our 4-kingdom group, and I would say, look, there is no point in us fighting in Zone 1, right? Based on Mask of Deceit. It's better for us just to split. Let's organize our landings, and then we'll go hard and fight it out, when Zone 1 passes. That way, everyone gets a little reprieve. You get to kind of, settle yourself into 1 Plus. You get to start building your territory out and organize yourself, right? And it's really just more of a benefit. So, even though, would I like to see them make it so that way merit points can start being accumulated on day 1? Sure. But if they don't do that, then that's really the next best strategy that just benefits everyone. So, again, do I think that's going to happen for every server 1 plus Season 1 Plus merge? Probably not. But however, do I believe it is the best strategy as long as they keep this intact the way it is? 100%. Okay. Then let's get to number 3. Number 3 here is that you absolutely need to play Season 1. I will give you a prime example, right? My account here was at about 1.4 mil before I just started taking a bunch of hits on troops and then obviously them being sent to my hospital. So, along with what I think probably is just some dead, and then the other big, actually, who knows even if it is that, but really then the main kind of debump, if you will, or power decrease came from going into Season 1 Plus, where I got all the resets that everyone else did, right? So now you're seeing me at, close to 1.1. The challenge here is that even when I go out, and I'm just going to show you something, right? So let's say I want to go and attack a level 1. If I want to go attack a level 1, notice what you see here, right? Just as an example, I have 8.9 thousand, almost 9,000 troops. in this Legion. It says we're stronger in green, which means, okay, I should be able to effortlessly clean this Darkling up. They did come out with something in the system mail, if you remember this. If we scroll down, you can see here where it says increase the difficulty of level 50 to 25 Darkling Legions and Darkling creatures, right? Now that's just generally in Season 1. However, they never said anything about Season 1 Plus or Season 2 as far as increasing, just anything. And so you'll notice here that I'm fighting this Legion, this Darkling unit, and they are literally just crushing at level 1. What we ended up realizing through just me noticing, and then, a few people that when we were talking about, I think in the official Discord a few days ago, is that Season 1 Plus for the PvE units are stronger. Now, we don't know if Behemoth's layers are going to be stronger yet, just because at least as of recording, Giant Bears haven't opened currently. However, going up against, again, Darkling creatures, Darkling patrols, probably even Darkling guards, are all going to be stronger. What this means is that even though your level XP has lessened, and we also are unsure on if the XP for the higher level Darklings are going to actually grant you more XP than what they did in Season 1. To me, that makes a little bit more sense if you're going to kind of raise the power level of them, maybe just to compensate a bit. Obviously, we'll have to see how Season 1 Plus plays out, through its what we think is going to be a 70-day. I can actually check that too as well. I didn't even need to go into the city. But we can check if we click season. Yeah, so see, again, we've been open, a little over 3 days right now, and we got a 70-day season for Season 1 Plus. So, we'll see, like as I mentioned, how things play out. But it's just the importance of having a needing to play your Season 1 account, because you don't want to be a low-level account and you're unable to attack these starting Darklings, right? That's just going to slow down your progression. This is why... One of the things and I'm just going to say, this is another thing I really like about CoD, is that it really, I don't know if I want to say supports, but it really highlights the importance of true activity on your main account, to level it, to invest everything into it. As the more you do in Season 1, across that 70-day period, the better off you're going to be when 1 Plus comes out, right? That means you really want to try and be in a position where you're just not neglecting the account. Because if you do, you might be in a position where my main account is in right now, where there's no point in me playing Season 1 Plus, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to catch up. And that's the kicker, right? Or it's just going to be very difficult for me to do it, right? I can beat a level 1 Darkling if I have 4 units out there and I'm doing a little bit of micro, but that's just insane. And for all those intents and purposes, along with me and why I want to make, when I decide to make a new account for different reasons, right? Having a project and having a group of players, a group of alliances that is just ready to go, right? For the everyday average player, and you're just going in as an individual, you need to be sure that you are actively playing your account, because not only will it impact Season 1 Plus, but it could impact future seasons as well. Maybe they'll keep raising the difficulty. Maybe they only raise the difficulty once, and then that'll just be the new difficulty that will apply for Season 2, 2 Plus, 3, or they'll just go to Season 2, then go to Season 3, 4, 5, and 6, etc. But it is important you play the account and you level as fast and as much as possible across all areas, because it will better prepare you for Season 1 Plus and beyond. The next thing here is going to be farm accounts, right? That's number 4. So I wanted just to briefly touch on farm accounts. The way it looks like, and this is kind of loosely connected to playing the 1 account and then the, again, increased difficulty of the PvE units, is that farm accounts can still be useful when it comes to transferring RSS. However, if you plan to try and level your farm account beyond, once you get to Season 1 Plus and beyond, that will prove more difficult. You are literally going to actually need in more time, right, meaning that you really, if you want to try and get your farm account to a point where it is benefiting you, right, you need to almost arguably play your farm account in Season 1 just like you're playing your main account, so you can get the most out of it, just like your main account once you get to Season 1 Plus. So just something to consider and to think about because of the changes is that it almost is going to make it, I don't know if I want to say obsolete because I don't think that's the case, but it's going to make it more challenging to keep up a farm account when you get to Season 1 Plus and beyond. So again, take that, heed that with caution. And then the last one here is going to be the importance of choosing your starting region. And I say this because, and yes, bear in mind, you do have the opportunity to hit your resurgence right after the first chapter ends, which is Crown of Justice. Excuse me, I'm on the wrong one. Unyielding Fate. And you can see here, right, this is the one where this alliance was built a total of 60 core fortresses by the end, right? Again, we didn't even hit that. Even for Misty Lands, we didn't hit that either. We got close. If this was like a 2-day event, that probably would have been better. If Unyielding Fate was a 2-day event, probably would be better. Otherwise, maybe lower that down to 50. This one, maybe you lower this one down to 8 million, right, as an example. Crown of Justice, honestly, we'll have to see. They're an hour in, and they got 22. So yeah, maybe they actually might be able to do this one. I think this is a little more doable. But just something to bear in mind is that you have the opportunity to do Resurgence after the first chapter ends, so you can switch your affiliated region if need be. But the importance is on choosing that starting region and making sure that you're in a situation where you can either keep up with with whomever the other alliances are in that region, or you have such an overwhelming advantage in that Zone 1 starting region that you can just put everyone there and not have to worry about it. Because you don't want to get put into a position where, for example, if I'm using Zoland as one, right, the Alliance UEH, I don't believe they've remade their center for yet. But as an example from my previous videos, that they were an alliance that was trying to get a fort up. They kept basically getting attacked on multiple fronts from multiple alliances and many players to where they haven't even been able to establish that yet. So you don't really want to put yourself in a position such as that unless, again, as I mentioned, you feel you can hold your ground or you just have such an overwhelming advantage. Otherwise, go to a region that is more in your favor. And oftentimes that has to do with doing that early diplomacy, communicating and reaching out to try and get a lay of the land when it comes to the kingdoms that are going to be merging right into your future. Okay, I guess you could say seasonal or season. And so, yeah, and again, for me, that pretty much covers my big 5 points here, right? There's obviously a lot to learn and to take away from what we've seen so far here in Season 1 Plus. And even though, yes, it has only been a little more than 3 days, I do think these points are really important. And for those of you that are new, if you haven't played, well, again, pretty much everyone, if you weren't in one of the first 4 kingdoms, right, you haven't had the chance to go through a Season 1 Plus, and who knows if they'll change some of these things, given we're still in beta, so the likelihood is there. But these are things that I hope, if the majority of this, or even all of it, stays intact, right, by the time we get to global release and beyond that, hopefully this video will help you and or your alliance members, your group of alliances, your kingdoms that are going into Season 1 Plus, can help you navigate just a little bit more. With all of that being said, that is it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.